Now, there has been an ongoing conversation about the current engine regulations in Formula One, and particularly, this is in relation to the compression ratios. And the conversation revolves around the fact that, or the idea that Mercedes may have been able to interpret the technical regulations in an interesting and smart way, which gives them an advantage. And that has forced the other manufacturers to sort of come together and seek clarification or action from FIA. And that's where that issue is sitting at the moment. And it is very interesting that this is coming up before the first race in Australia, because if there are any changes to the regulations, or if manufacturers vote to change the regulations before the first race, then there are indications that that would affect Mercedes and all its customers. And that's an issue that even the Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff spoke about. And I want to quote what he said, because I think it's important to have a feeling of what he feels and what he thinks about the situation. This is what Toto, the team principal for Mercedes, said. "We have received all the assurances that everything we have done is within the rules. And what we are talking about isn't even a massive performance gain." And this is a clear indication that Toto and Mercedes actually have accepted or acknowledged that there is an issue, or at least that other manufacturers have raised an issue in relation to this compression ratio situation. And what he's trying to say, or what I read from this particular statement, is that he acknowledges it and that he also acknowledges that the performance is not much. But of course, you do not expect other manufacturers to take this lightly, because any marginal advantage in Formula One can actually be very huge, especially when you go to some of the tracks like Monza, where such kind of an advantage can give you a very big leap forward. It can ensure that you're actually ahead of your competitors. And also Toto continues, "That's the situation, but I think all our rivals felt a bit aggrieved and lobbied the FIA for a long time. There is a governance process. If that governance falls for a change to an engine regulation, you have to accept it. It is what it is. In a case like that, it would be harmful for all Mercedes-powered teams. The benefit for us is only a few horsepower." End of quote. Now that again also shows that they acknowledge that what they have been able to actually innovate, or the kind of thing that they have been able to do with their engines, gives them an advantage. But he also is pragmatic in the sense that if the regulation changes are made through consensus, or if the vote goes to the majority where they agree that there is need for a change when it comes to the engine regulations, that they will accept it. And I think that's a different take from what we had had before from the CEO of the overall Mercedes team, who is said to have argued that they would go to court. And I think this is a new realization that probably such would be a long process. It may not be beneficial in terms of even the positioning and branding of Mercedes to continue pushing this into the courts, and especially when you consider that they had an opportunity to also go to court in 2021 after what happened in Abu Dhabi, and they did not. So going to court now might not be, accepted, or it might not be received well by various fans of Hamilton, fans of Mercedes, who might feel that it is double standard, that when they had an opportunity to go to court, they did not go. And now that they feel that probably something is being taken away from their engine, that's when they are deciding to go to court. Of course, it's an interesting story, it's a developing story. And with FIA wanting to have this resolved before the first race in Australia, it will be interesting to see what happens. And if there are any changes, what the impact will be to the teams such as Mercedes, Williams, McLaren. And these are all teams that are actually using Mercedes engines or Mercedes power units. So I would want to hear from you what you think might happen. Do you think that there will be an engine regulation change before Australia? Or do you think Mercedes will be allowed to continue having the engine they have and the advantage they possibly have? Or if you are being asked, how would you wish to see this issue resolved? If this is the first time that you are meeting, by the way, my name is Joe, and I create videos about Formula One and the business of Formula One on this YouTube channel. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you are not, and I'm going to see you in the next video.